happens when someone who has very little experience in genealogy, has never heard of a GEDCOM, decides to write a genealogy software program for a family member? Find out today on the Genealogy Software Showcase. Hello, my name is Ed Thompson, and I'm your host of the Genealogy Software Showcase. We've been featuring a lot of tree building software over the past several weeks. And reaching across the pond once again, I found Brian Jones, the creator of XY Family Tree. In my discussions with Brian, I discovered that when he started XY Family Tree, he had very little experience in genealogy, but was doing a favor for a family member. He had also never heard of the GEDCOM, although he has since educated himself on that particular topic. So let me introduce to you, let's see here, get the right screen, there we go, introduce to you Brian Jones. Brian, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ed.
So
nice to be here.
Tell me a little bit more about how you got into your toe dipping into genealogy and software development.
Well, I started off writing software for interest and amusement and a hobby. I found myself more and more wound into software, writing software, and especially databases. So by 2005, when Microsoft introduced their wonderful Visual Basic Express, I thought this is a good project. I can do something for my sister who's keeping all the family records in Excel or bits of paper. I thought I can create a database. It built from there, so I got a database built using Visual Basic, and that's it really.
And so your first cut of the program was using Visual Basic, and what is a database?
The database purely was in the early days CSV files.
Okay.
I called each file an XYZ file, but it was basically CSV, all comma separated. So there are files for the people and the marriages and the relationships and the various other tables you would normally have in a database were all separate CSV files, and they're just brought together by Visual Basic in its own memory space.
Okay.
Each table being indexed by the array.
And then later you upgraded to Access, is that what I understand?
No, I haven't migrated to Access. I've practiced a lot in Access. I'm an Access programmer for many, many years, but I migrated to XML. So the tables which were CSV are now XML tables. Much the same structure works. It works the same internally, but the tables themselves are housed as XML, which gives me the opportunity to create extra tags that you wouldn't normally get in a very strongly structured program.
So we have very mixed opinions about the GEDCOM file on the Genealogy Software Showcase. Some of us love it in the audience, some of us hate it, myself included. But it is what it is, and it is what we have. How did you find out about the GEDCOM, and how did you first integrate it into your program?
I think it all came in through the mist, so I can't remember a particular point at which GEDCOM became an awareness, but I think someone told me, have you heard of GEDCOM? I thought, well, no, what's GEDCOM? So I had to research GEDCOM and work out how it worked and do the best I could to import it. So I can import GEDCOM files, provided they're fairly straightforward and flat, and each family's got one father, one mother, and various children. If it varies from that standard structure, it does get a bit weird, and if they introduce lots of strange tags which are not normal, I can't really import those. So it's pretty much normal. GEDCOM works great, comes in, but anything special it doesn't.
Okay. So I got some reports that audio was choppy. I apologize, I had one extra microphone on. Hopefully it's better now. Hello, Pat from Kentucky. Hello, Robin from Santa Barbara. And Marion, well, Marion, you didn't say where you were from, but JF Fossey from Wisconsin. Hello to all. We got a good crowd today. And as I shared with you before the show, I found that a good place for us to start is, let's suppose I, as a beginner, have just installed your software, and I open up the software for the first time, and I kind of throw my hands in the air and say, I don't know where to start. So if you want to go ahead and share your screen.
Right, let's.
Lewis, my friend Lewis, is holding his tongue about the GEDCOM. He and I have a friendly battle about it. Here we go.
So you would install it, and you end up with a set of sample data, which is the Medici family tree. Medici is a Florentine family of great wealth who made their money by being associated with the popes of the day and other enterprises. I went to Florence many years ago, and I thought this looks very interesting how the family is built, and well, it was just an interesting family. So I thought I'd use the Medicis as a startup point. So this is your sample data. You get this when you open up, and you normally start off with Lorenzo de' Medici, Lorenzo the Great, magnificent. Then there are various buttons around, which you can you see my mouse moving?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you can add. Basically, it builds by adding people to the known person. So there's Lorenzo in the middle there, and on the right hand side we have his father and his mother and his siblings and his spouses and his children and his associates. He's associated with Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci. So if you want to build on this, you could just add, if I had a father, it will say, this person already has a father, so I can't add another one. I can add a sibling, because we have both parents, so I add a sibling. I'll just write rubbish names in here. Your family name is Medici ordinarily. Your birth, what's happened? My mouse, one, two, right. Births, your dates are worked out on a four-digit year. So 1236, you can put 1236 at the beginning or 1236 at the end, and it will work out the dates.
Does it differentiate between how we do the dates in the U.S. and how they do it over there?
Well, providing you use 4 digits, you can use the 4 digits at the beginning, the end, or in the middle, or wherever else. It will just decide that's the year for that person if it sees 4 digits together.
And does it do month, day, or day, month?
It wouldn't matter.
Okay.
Well, you use your own convention, providing you stick to it. That's what, it's better you have the Y at the beginning or at the end, but you can change it. Where born, I'll say Florence. You've got date, death, or the last date you know of. And where died, you can write in there something else. The idea of the father is Piero il Gottoso, Piero the Gouty, and Lucretia Tornabuoni is his mother, because we know that's the father and mother because it's a sibling of Lorenzo. So please indicate the sex. Now the sex being male, female, or unknown, and indeed you can change this later on. So sex of. So return.
Catherine says, I like having a place to add associates.
Good. Well, yes, your associates, they can be formal or informal. It can be a partner or just a friend or whoever else has some influence on the family, some relevance. So I've just added this strange person here, SSF, and given him the date. Now I can add a spouse. So it's presumed the spouse is male, but well, that's the well, with the spouse. Sorry, the top box is the focal person.
Okay.
The next box down is a new person. So you can either create a brand new person, or you can use someone already in the data. I'll use someone already in the data. Right. No, I won't. I shall create. I'm getting lost here myself. New person. Right, new person. Create a new person. And the date.
And do you support same-sex couples?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be fine. You might have to change it up. So I've added a female. Statements. I can add notes about the marriage was then, and notes. Same return. So now there's a female partner in pink over here. So SSF. Just change his name. I call him John. So it's John de Medici, right? I'll bring his wife over and call her Mary for the sake of simplicity. So John and Mary. Now Mary is female, but I can change Mary to male, which will be a bit weird, but then we can do that. So they're basically a same-sex couple, John and Mary.
So what if I have two spouses?
No problem. So Mary got married again. So I'll add a spouse to Mary. We'll add an existing person. So you can drop down here. I'm adding an existing person. I'll add and Medici. Save and return. So now Mary's she's married to John, who's also married to Anne, who's already in the database.
So when you go to add a children, you can choose between the spouses?
Yeah, I could. The children would be. Just add a child to Mary. This might give us a choice. So if I had a child, just up here, add a child. Family name's a bit weird, but Peter. Who is? Make it male Peter. I'll put the date in there and all the rest of the stuff. The idea of the mother is because I've added as a child of the mother, it's definitely a child of the mother. The idea that, sorry, that's a.
You've confused yourself
on the male
Mary,
side. I'm very confused here. Forgive me. But you can choose the other parent as well. So now that child, Peter, is the parents of Mary Gugididu and Bianca Capello.
So you were able to choose a parent that wasn't even a spouse?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I could have. It's very flexible. You can add anyone to be. Now these parents are, by notionally, they are the birth parents, but they could be the adoptive parents. In which case, perhaps you might want, let's say, they're the actual birth parents, but you want to add an associate to Google. I've changed his surname as well. He's horrible. Goss. Peter Goss. Right. So Peter Goss, who is a male. That's right. It's very confusing. This. Could have had an associate. So if I had an associate, I'll add an associate from the existing people here. So randomly I'll choose Cibo Giovanni. Save personal association. Right, now the associate is Givo de Battista Pope. What have I chosen? But never mind. So that could be an associate. That could actually be an adopting parent, if you like. And you can actually write a note on there. Francesco, right. You could write a note. Adopted Peter. I can't remember what I'm talking about now, but he could add a note. It can get very confusing when you're mucking about, can't it? Anyway, forgive me. A birth parent or an adopted parent could be either, and the other parent could be the associate. So, or indeed, it's possible to have, if you're looking around with genes and various strange biological things, you can actually have a group of parents, a group of donors from one side or the other, and they could all be the parent. That could be just basically a group. So the child could have one mother and a group of fathers.
Okay. Do you have any kind of charts, like a tree display of the
Yeah,
families?
let's go back to the. We go. I'll click on the home. Um, hmm. Well, so I've got print. So print a chart according to the print A5. These are ISO standards rather than American standards, but ISO A5, A4, A3, A2, A1. Your printer won't cope with anything probably other than A4, but you can create a PDF of some other size and take it to a printer and get it done properly. So let's see this. I'm going to choose basic one over there. You need to select preferred browser. I haven't chosen a preferred browser in my. I'll choose Firefox. So it basically creates a PDF and displays a PDF. I hope. Go on there. Yes, there we are. It's a bit of a mess because I didn't. I'm mucking around, but you can choose much nicer ones than this. So you can print that PDF, or you can take it if it's a different size.
Did it pop up in a browser?
It is. Can you not see it?
Oh no, we can't see it.
Let's see. I'm going to share the screen. Stop the share of that one. I choose. Yes. That one there. Does it help?
There we go. Yep.
Yeah. So obviously it's a very messy one, but you can do much prettier ones, of course, if you don't muck around like I'm doing now. So if I stop, try a prettier one. Let's try something else. Right, let's try print. There's also advanced printing, so it's right. I need to change the share here. That's my Zoom meeting.
There we go.
Yeah, that's Leonardo Lorenzo with his family tree structure there. And so it's quite flexible. You can add in up to a certain number of ancestors before and up to a certain number of children afterwards. But there are limits because you can't display a whole family tree on one piece of paper. Even though some people have asked me, how do I display all my family on one piece of paper? Well, if you've got 1,000 people, I don't. You couldn't.
It can be very, very difficult. So let's talk about source handling. In terms of, I have a birth date, but what's my evidence that that's the correct birth date?
I've got no means of knowing whether it's the correct birth date or not. Let me share this again, don't I?
But you do. I saw a sources tab.
But there is a sources tab, right? There's a sources tab there. So basically, there are sources for your Lorenzo. You've got various sources. There's a link there that shows you. What does that show you? No. Well, there's a source down there where it's not working. Oh, it's very slow. It comes up in another window. Unfortunately, it's because I'm screen sharing.
Okay.
Right.
So it looks like your definition of source is what other programs might call a media file.
If you like.
It can be an image or a
whatever else it is.
Okay.
I don't know whether this one will work. This is the force me with you. Does it?
Oh, you can even play.
No, does it? No, this computer's old. This computer's old. Okay, don't worry about that. So basically, all right, these are sources. These are things you've got, which I call them sources. It's evidence. Whatever evidence you've got is here.
Okay.
And you can store it either on your computer or as a link to a remote file or whatever you've got.
And can you create citations for those sources? Footnotes, bibliography entries?
Not really, except if I went there about the source file.
Okay.
It says the force will be with you, and I can write in there. Was Lorenzo a Jedi Knight? I don't know. So you can refer to anything else external, but wherever you've got stuff. As you point out in the first place, I'm not a genealogist. I'm a computer person. So sometimes genealogy speak, they have different ideas. I've tried to work out what citations are, and as best I can work out, they are references to some other source.
Mm-hmm.
And you can refer them here. I've got a bag which my sister collected all the birth certificates and other bits and documents, so I could quote that bag which is living by my bed downstairs.
That would be what we call a repository.
All right. Whatever.
So I enter all this data in your program, and what's always in the back of my mind is what do I get out of that? What's the payoff of doing this work? And you showed us the chart. Are there other things in here that would make me feel excited about using it?
There's another way of navigation by ancestors. I don't know. So I can navigate by ancestors down here. Or that's a family navigation. Can you see that?
Yes.
You can. It might be in a different window. Can't get rid of it now. Right. Or I can do it by kinship. So these are all the relations to nieces and nephews, first cousins removed. So I click on there. There's none.
Oh, that's a chart that would help a lot of people understand cousin relationships.
Yeah, this one. All right, you hover over siblings, and you've got 3 siblings there. I hover over uncles and aunts. I click on that. So those are uncles and aunts. John de Medici is obviously an uncle. Just added him a little while ago. So that will show you, yes, by kinship.
And then what are the degrees referring to?
They're the relationship distance.
Okay.
I found this somewhere on a website about how you do these relationship distances. So distance is n degrees equals x plus y, which is
okay.
Different directions.
Yeah, so parents are first degree, grandparents are second degree.
And
interesting going down the other way.
Yeah, third cousins 3 times removed are 11 degrees.
Okay, I have to look that up. Lucas, have you heard of that kind of a relationship reference before? That would be interesting. Hello, Mert. Nice to have you with us today. And Marcia did identify herself from Illinois. Welcome. Lewis says the most unique setup of any genealogy program I've seen. Very interesting thought process. So I believe one of the things that you have a online tab.
Yeah, online. Well, this is so you can upload data and see the data, or it's not all the data. So it's not basically it doesn't save your whole family tree to the website, but it will extract enough of it to make sense on a website. So can I take you to a website?
Yes, please. You just may need to share the browser.
I need to stop sharing that one and take you to a different one.
Hello, J. Ray.
So I was showing you the Medici family. Hang on, I've got to share again, haven't I? Right, this is the Medici family tree. Can you see it?
Yes.
So if I click on the Medici up there.
Now, was that generated by the program or?
It's the data from the program.
Okay. That first page?
It was all of the data for this family.
Okay.
So all the family details, the names, the dates of birth, or at least the year of birth. That's what I was telling you earlier about the YYYY year being extracted, whether it's the beginning of the date or the end of the date or wherever it is, it uses that year. It doesn't bother about the exact date for this because it's just for display. So this is Lorenzo up there, and you've got all his grandchildren and so on, and you can click on. There's Lucretia de Medici, Lucretia, and that's all her siblings along left and right, and her father is up there. That's Cosimo.
What is that icon? Can you explain those icons, the colored ones?
The coloured icon. Basically, it's navigation. So you've got this little. Can you see my mouse?
Yes.
Right. That is basically a family tree in that direction, which I can click like that. The horizontal bars is basically a horizontal display. The multi-layered hamburger is in fact a list, and the slide downwards is descent of all the from that person. And if there's a little picture, there's a picture behind Lucretia de Medici there. Click on that and it brings you there. And I can also change the timeline view. I'm not sure it will work for this because she's got not very many people there. Let's go on. So timeline view from Lucretia de Medici. She's at the front, or at the top there, and her siblings are down there. And there's some attempts to illustrate where they were born or what the sequence they were born in and when they pegged out. So obviously they don't all have dates of death, so there has to be an estimate for date of death. They can't live longer than 100 years, but so the length of the bar might not be accurate, but the beginning is usually accurate.
Okay. Now the program is directly integrated with this. If you make a change in the program and push it up, you
can push it up.
You can push it.
Yeah,
so
they're not synced, but you push it up.
And is that are you configured for FTP, or how are you getting it to the website?
It's just by forms, basically.
Okay. So it's submitted as a form.
It's submitted as a form, yeah.
Okay.
You find the date, you push it up, yeah. You just link it. The data becomes part of the form. It's attached to the form.
Okay.
So then it re-indexes on the website because the index in the arrays in Visual Basic does not match the index in the arrays in PHP. I discovered. So
that's true.
So to reposition all the indexes. So basically, it's uploaded as files, and each person's indexed with a separate index.
What is that all families view?
All families, right? That's all. There's a certain amount because of our wonderful general data protection regulations introduced in Europe. There were a lot of families on here, but I've hidden them all because I don't strictly have permission to display them. I've had to sort of check with people. So the Medicis are not going to worry me now, I don't think. The royal family won't worry me either. I can just show you the royal family. You can password your online presence with a password. I'm using just you. Don't save. Let's save it. Log in. Okay.
So you can password protect parts of
you
the.
can password. You'll protect your family. Yes. So there we have our wonderful queen and her 4 children, and it goes a long way. This family goes back. For instance, Edward Augustus Hanover here on the right is 20 further generations to consider. And even now we've got the George Hanover, still got another 20 to go. So
Yeah, I'm becoming a little bit more aware of British history, and I'm surprised how much the Germans are part of the
It's
the
almost German history. Yeah.
British, yeah,
And Russian.
yeah, that was,
Yeah. So even now we've got down the bottom, we've still got another 20 generations for Henry Stuart. So it goes an awful long way back, the royal family, yes.
So how did you get this website set up? The initial install.
What we're looking at here, I basically had a website, and it has PHP on it, and I loaded this up and wrote the PHP scripts.
Okay, so was that mostly manual to initialize it before the program pushes?
Yeah, I've written it all
Okay.
in PHP, so there's nothing I haven't bought anything.
Okay.
I don't like paying for things. So this is all written by me. I downloaded the file comes from a Jetcom. I found the Jetcom file on the internet somewhere for the Royal Family sources and uploaded those as well to make it pretty.
Okay.
Now there is another. Can I just show you one other family?
Yeah, please.
All family disease. I'll show you actually a gentleman who has actually uploaded his, and I'm sure he's quite happy for me to show it to everyone. Mr. Azar. Now he's got absolutely tons on here. So if I take, right, Mr. Azar, he's got thousands in there, lots of moving pictures. So
Oh my!
Click on there.
So are you hosting his data?
Yeah, he's pushed it onto my website. So
Okay.
effectively, I'm hosting it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean we've not come to any other arrangements, but I'm sure it would be possible. The other way is, in fact, print off from the desktop program. There's a HTML prints read in your browser, which you can make into a PDF. But equally, you could just save the HTML and put it onto your own website as a static page.
Okay. Okay. Can we go back to the program?
Yeah.
The desktop program.
Yeah. Sorry, I'll go there yet. No. What's going on here? No. Right, can you see me?
Yeah, I can now. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Now you've got a tab there called Alt Names.
Alt names, yeah. Right, so it's basically a lexicon of alternative names.
Okay.
So for names themselves, I've got Medici or de Medici or de apostrophe Medici. A search on any of those will find all of them.
Okay.
Let me go back to, I think if we go to this one here, for instance, for Lorenzo, we've got all the given names, Lorenzo, Lawrence, or Lawrence with a W or a U. All the family names are also alternative. Places of birth would be Villa de Correggi, Florence, Italy, Firenze, Tuscany, or Correggi, and place of death, Villa de Correggi, similar things there. So if you search on any of those words, it will find an entry with those words in, even if for instance, we hadn't used. Let's take where died.
And do you have to define that for each focus person, or will Lorenzo always find Lawrence?
It's global within that family.
Okay.
And you define it yourself. And you can add names in and take names out, so it's reasonably flexible. Can I save that right? Save right. It's no longer grave. So I'm finding Firenze in this family. So all these people have got Firenze somewhere in their record. Either born there, died there, or something else happened. Firenze is a feature of that person. So let's see. Oh yes, she died where died, Ferenzi, Ferenzi, Ferenzi. Whether I put it 3 times, I don't know. But anyway, this is demo data, and I'm playing with it. So
Yeah, yeah. We're very familiar with that. So the third thing that I like to cover is, you're a creator. You've created this program. Like most creators, you have a passion for it, I'm sure. What is it that you are most proud of in XY Family Tree?
it's different, basically. It's not GEDCOM. It can import, it exports an XY exchange file. So if I want to export this family tree, I go up here, File, Export, XY Exchange. It says exporting to XY Exchange will create a zipped file containing the whole of the sample database folder. So basically, it zips the whole lot up into a single file. And you can then email it to yourself, post it somewhere else. This can be attached to the email or copied to a secure backup to locate, whatever you want to do. Basically, it's backed up.
Okay.
And similarly, you can download it. You can import the XY Exchange file just like that.
It did look like you did support importing and exporting Jetcom, though.
It does. Well, it imports Jetcom as good as it can manage with a Jetcom file, and it exports it again as best as it can manage. But I'm afraid even within the Jetcom domain, there are so many varieties of Jetcom. If you read Tamura Jones on the subject, she's not very complimentary of that compatibility.
There are.
I think it's a he, isn't it?
There are a lot of a lot of concerns about a lot of it. It's been around for a long time, and it has served us well in certain areas. What do you have under the tool menu there?
Tools, right? Well, the project notes. You can add project notes. Well, I haven't got mine. But can you see? Does that come up in the
Yes.
panel there?
Yes.
You can have a project notes text for whatever project notes you want. Tools, open a to-do list, very similar. Copy all private notes to a clipboard. See the pictures and sort. So that's a list of all the pictures I've got. And the source codes, any other things that are in there. To check connections. This is a feature which checks the connections, people without parents. Quite a lot there. But it can also check
my whole experience with the Medicis is through. I saw Michelangelo. There was a show on television. I don't remember I think it was on Showtime about Leonardo, and went much more into the Medicis than I had seen before. So that was. I recognized Lorenzo and his brother when you pulled it up.
Oh, it's a fascinating place, actually, when you think of the wealth they had. Yeah.
Check
Anyway,
check if people are their own ancestor.
Right. No,
Lewis picked up on that.
I found some imported GEDCOM files which I found on the internet, and I did check with people their own ancestor, and somehow people get connected to themselves. If you look on the website, my website actually shows you an example of it. I don't want to detour to that now, but I mean, you can go on the website, on the XY Family Tree website, and see examples of how people are ancestors of themselves. Obviously, a mistake. You can also check people without any connections to any others in the family. This would be if you disconnected. Well, if you just added an estranged person that were connected as an associate, or a sibling, or a parent, or a spouse, then that person would come up as having no connections in the family. And so there are some of those in GEDCOM files as well.
Absolutely.
People never connected to anything.
Or orphans, although real orphans probably have a link somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's another one, check that all people referred to can be found in the data. So sometimes you might be referring to someone who's no longer there.
Okay.
So it just checks all the connections.
Are you talking about in the tree, or does that include associates?
Anything.
Okay.
If anywhere that is referring to number 23, if number 23 doesn't exist, then it will flag that up.
Okay.
Under tools, you've got compare another family. You can actually open two families together. So, this is not going to make much of a comparison because I do it in this. So this is two families in here. There's up in the top left-hand corner it says comparing two families. The grey if the text is matched, orange if only the UUID is matched, green if text and UUID are matched, a strong match. So we've only got one potential one here. That's no match at all with Alfonsina. But I'm mucking around with silly data. But if you had two families which are fairly parallel, I mean, you're keeping two versions of the same family and you want to see how they compare, it's quite useful just to see where they match or don't. There's also you got the concept of a UUID or GUID. So if the person is imported from GEDCOM and doesn't already have a UUID, it gives that person a UUID, and that is unique pretty much throughout the universe in terms of who someone might be.
So you can compare. Can you merge?
I can't merge.
Okay.
No, because I did look at that, but the merge was so dangerous because you really need to go one by one. Who's who? I mean, this the compare in this way you can compare, but you've got to be so careful. You know, I've seen people who've got grand family trees. They've got them all over the place, and goodness knows, goodness knows what nonsense might be in there.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to show us?
I don't know. What else have I got here? Oh, what's I've got a. I think you're asking about locations.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if you've heard of What Three Words. No.
No.
Okay, my family is going to. Edna. My mum. Right. There she is 4 years old. Now, there's a thing called What Three Words. Now, this might not. I need to show you some different window. It's where my mum and dad died. They were buried. Sorry. I'll have to change. This. Have I lost you?
Nope. I'm seeing you though, not your screen.
You're seeing me, not my screen. Zoom is. What's happened?
Did you close the program you were sharing?
Let's shut that. No, I've got lost here somewhere. I can't see me in my thing anyway. I've disappeared somehow.
Okay, zoom. There should be a little window somewhere that you've got to double click on. I've got myself into this mess before too.
What signed in?
Try double clicking on the zoom icon in your taskbar.
Yeah, I just did that and it just said not signed in. Join a meeting. Sign in. So I'll get back to the beginning. I'll leave this one and come back in if that's okay.
Okay. There's always something that there's always something to go wrong. When I was first warming up for this episode, I had camera issues. And actually, I think right now you're seeing my, yeah, there we go. I had camera issues, and I'm embarrassed to say it's because I thought on was off and off was on. So I was glad I straightened that one out before the show. Let's see. Do I need to let him back in? Where did he go? There are certain elements here that you can see that it was definitely written by someone who doesn't have a lot of experience in genealogy, and I may address that on my webpage later. Which, by the way, my websites are all down right now. Hopefully by the end of the day they'll be back up, but I'm in the middle of doing a migration. Let him back in. And let me go back to split screen. Yeah, you're back in, but you're muted.
Right.
There you go.
Try again. Right. Let's
Okay.
try that link again. Right. So.
I hear a sound as if something is on the keyboard.
Yeah. Let's share screen. What 3 words? Right, that little square there is where my parents are buried,
Okay.
and it has a what 3 words address. Can you see the title bar?
Yes.
It says https what3words.com/mimic.plots.vibrate. Now each 3 meters by 3 meters square in the whole of the world has got 3 words, and they don't make much sense, but they are 3 different words. So I suggest you go and have a look at what 3 words, and you can locate all sorts of things, and just give them a 3-word address, which is what I did for my parents' grave there.
Okay.
So you can obviously do that for anything. You could add all these in. Let's go back to.
So is that integrated with the program, or?
No, it's just basically a hyperlink.
But yeah, okay.
So I stop that share.
Maybe that's why you had forens for Lucretia.
I can't explain all these things. But anyway, so basically in this, I'll share again. Right, are we still there? Can you see?
Yes, we can see your desktop. The desktop.
All those sources. There's about Edna. That's Edna, age 4. That's the Jones family in 1961. And this link here is the what 3 words link, which I just clicked on and showed you. So basically, you can edit this.
Oh, Edna died first is the 3 words. Is that?
No, Edna died first. It's not the 3 words.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, the 3 words were mimic, whatever it was.
Okay.
It was mimic plots vibrate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Okay. Interesting technique there. I'll have to check that one out.
So basically, whatever's not actually in the program itself can be hyperlinked to either to a file on your computer or to a web page or whatever you've got. Basically, I call those sources, if you like.
Okay. And it will take you to the browser. Pop up the browser for you.
Well, it will take you it'll open the JPEG file, it will open the doc file, or open the Excel file, or open whatever files you've got on your computer, which are your sources, are linked in on up here under sources.
All right. Any plans for? I'm gonna put you back on the picture screen. So if you want to turn off screen share.
Yeah.
So any plans for enhancing the program in the future?
Not unless someone pays me some money, because this is not making any money at all, and I keep getting ideas, but they come much further apart now. They used to be every few weeks, and now they're every few months or years. So something gives me an inspiration to do something else.
Yes.
Yeah, I go down certain lines, and then that doesn't work. There was a mapping feature on there originally, but it was so unreliable I couldn't really use it.
Okay.
Plus, people, there were so many. A person is associated with so many places, so I don't know whether you can map a person's everywhere they've been. It's almost like on your mobile phone when you come home and Google tells you you've been to these places. And did I? I don't know. Oh, I did go there. Yeah.
Okay, well, I want to thank you so much for appearing on the show and showing us your program. It, based on the comments, definitely seen a unique perspective on the approach to storing genealogy records, and the ability to push to a website makes it intriguing. So thank you, Brian. I appreciate it. I'm going to switch here real quick to close us out. And next week, we are featuring a Sarah Callis, who is a team member of WikiTree. And she's going to take us through WikiTree, explain what it is, what you can do with it, and what she is most proud of as a WikiTree team member. So that will be next week, Thursday at 4 p.m. American Eastern Time. And until then, let's have some fun.